All right, so let's hear this. This isn't very long. This is only 14 minutes of audio.
All right.
So we'll hear what David Lee Roth has to say about keeping his voice in shape, since we had such a good a good experience with seeing that personally.
Right.
All right, here it is. Opie and Anthony, David Lee Roth with Jim Norton and Jim Florentine.
Sure.
Now I'm thinking about personal lyrics though, because there's this one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs is called "When the Tigers Broke Free." I think Roger Waters wrote about his father being killed in the war. And it didn't make the original album and the reason that was given was it was just too personal. And I'm like, that must have been so offensive to come in with a song about something that means so much that whatever happened, and they said, it just doesn't fit. And I'm like, how do you deal with that? If someone has something that means so much to them, but it doesn't reach the other band members
I like the first part first. It was just so personal that it couldn't be played.
That was what their reason was.
It was so personal that I can't let you listen to it.
Right.
Now we're entering into Spinal Tap turf.
No, the band didn't like it.
You don't understand, Jim.
The band didn't want it on.
It's the best song I've ever written, but it's so personal. I can't play it for you.
So you think that was what? Do you think they said that because they didn't like it?
I think they said that because they're full of Groucho Marx. You know, you enter into this turf of what was his routine about. I put together a band and we charged only so much for when we played. Turns out we're more popular when we don't play. So I had to charge more when we don't play. Now, when we don't play, we don't rehearse. You can run into some serious money if we don't play and we don't rehearse. And it turns out, you don't understand, Jim. It's so personal that I couldn't bear to record it. That's bullshit.
Okay,
is what that is.
So that was what Roger Waters said that the band's reason was for not wanting to put it on the record. Was that it was just too specific to him or whatever? Maybe
so they probably just didn't like the song.
Maybe they just didn't like the song. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, it sounds like he may be making. Okay, I understand.
Maybe.
He's creating another reason. Okay, and maybe it wasn't up to par. But as far as being too personal, how is that possible with artists out there like Peaches, the Teachers of Peaches, and all of this kind of stuff? There's no way you could be too personal. You know, some of the stuff that Springsteen has created out there. There's no way you can get too personal. You know, in any department of your life, social, sexual, political, or whatever.
So maybe the rest of the band just didn't like the fucking song, and that was what they said. Like, it's just too specific to you.
Yeah, and you know, it's all God. The more personal it is, what is it that really sells the music if you don't speak the language?
How personal do you think "Stay Frosty" was?
Stay frosty, my friends.
Are you thinking that was way too personal for Van Halen fans?
I'm thinking that. I'm thinking "Ice Cream Man" was probably a very personal, song for David Lee Roth.
Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now?
Sure.
Probably very personal.
So how did Jimmy Norton get into Pink Floyd?
Dude, they were just rambling. You know how that show goes sometimes, man. It just turns into a ramble fest, and they were just rambling, and Norton brought this up. But it leads into, and that's where we'll get to, and this is a lead up into them talking about Black Sabbath and why Black Sabbath is continuing. And that's when he starts talking about guys that probably have overstayed their welcome or whatever, or haven't kept their chops up.
Okay.
Unlike him.
Right.
Which is that it's authentic, that it's confident, and that it is personal to you. If it's not real, if it's fake, you're making it up. If you're pretending to be a cowboy and you ain't no cowboy, professional detractors like ourselves will pick up on that pretty quickly, yo.
What about when you're doing? How much can a good or bad producer? I'm obsessed with the new Sabbath record, as is Jim, and we credit a lot of that.
Stop right there. Why are you obsessed with it?
It's so much better than I imagined it could be. I love the lyrics. I love the tone. I love the music. I love all of it.
Okay, well, the good campfire story is, why did you imagine it would be so much less?
Because they haven't done one since.
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, Roth is an interesting guy to speak to. He's definitely interesting to listen to, but man, does he go off the rails quick here.
It's okay. So he asks a couple good questions there. He says, why did you think it was, why did you think it was going to be subpar?
Right.
1978, so it was almost like the last Van Halen record. You guys didn't do one for a long time, and that the last Van Halen record could fit in between Van Halen 2 and Women and Children First.
And I didn't think it was that good.
No, come on.
It wasn't good at all.
It was the worst of the David catalog.
I listened to it twice, and that's the last time I listened to it.
I like it. I definitely do like it, and there are some good tunes on. She's the Woman's a good tune. Stay Frosty's fun.
Yeah. Some good stuff on
Out of
there.
Space is pretty fun. You know, I like it, but man, oh man, in with the elite Van Halen albums?
No.
Not even
That
close.
No,
takes
not
time.
even close.
Not even
But
in the
not
same
yet.
ballpark.
It's a different animal.
Does the Sabbath record fit in?
It could fit into 1971.
1970, right after Master Reality, between Paranoid and Master Reality.
And
Wow. That's no chance. Between Paranoid and Master of Reality, the new Sabbath?
No.
Fuck that. Between Tear and Forbidden, maybe.
That was like that would have been an album that they would release at the very end of the Ozzy era.
Yeah. I say it's not as good as some of the Tony Martin stuff.
Ugh.
It's not very good.
Are the songs quality? I
Fucking
understand.
amazing.
I understand that the shoes and haircut are correct.
Right, we got to get Norton on the show.
We definitely got to.
I've chatted with him on and off, and it's really weird. I'll have like this discussion with him online or with emails and stuff, and he'll answer me right away, and then he'll just disappear and won't answer anymore.
You know what? I'll reach out to him because I know Jimmy, and I actually text with him back and forth somewhat often. I will reach out to him this week. Just remind me this week. I'll reach out to him this week and get him on.
We got to get Norton on here. I like that guy. He's funny. He's just a crazy nut. But
he is. But
I got to find out this. It's just an amazing record.
It's not an amazing record.
Has he been hanging out with the metal experts or something?
Yeah, it's not even a good record.
Amazing.
It's not amazing. It's not good. It's just fucking flat songs.
Yes.
That's the neighborhood, but then there's such a thing as the good stuff from that time period and the not so good. All the bands have it. You know, we all do that.
Yes.
But this is good material.
That's what it was. It's almost like if you go out with a girl and she's very pretty and you can't believe that she's just going to want to blow you over and over. Like, oh my God, that's how I felt with this record. It was that fucking good. Everything about it is more than I had ever hoped for.
Come on, Jimmy, stop.
Come on.
It was more than I had hoped for.
Sounds like somebody that has a show on Ozzy's Boneyard. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, let's not piss off Sharon, huh?
Not at all.
Wow.
Let's retrace this.
I love Dave's face when you told that.
We're running past great subjects.
We
just ran past Mount Rainier here.
Well, you're saying you're asking why did I not expect it to be? Not that I didn't expect it, but almost like it was too good to be true that I would love it as much.
Oh, stop it! It's too good to be true.
Way too good to be true.
Oh my God!
You're not feeling that?
No.
No?
No. What was the last record you ever listened to that you thought to yourself, "Oh, this is just too good to be true"?
Oh man, it's been a while at this point.
You know what I mean? That doesn't even describe anything I've heard in a while.
Not in the last 10 years.
Well, I'm going to probably just throw one out there.
Okay.
The first Accept record with their new lead singer.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I did not expect it to be good at all.
Sure.
And the Anthrax record.
Yeah, the worship music.
Yeah, I did not expect that to be good at all, and I was blown away as to how heavy that thing was.
Both of those are fair, and I would say the Accept record is definitely more fair just because, hell, we actually apologized on the air.
Yeah, because we thought it was going to be shit.
We fucking goofed on the fact that the TT Quick singer was the new singer. We goofed on that.
Yeah.
And
it came out, and it was just like, holy shit.
Yep, this is fucking seriously solid.
Yeah. So that's the only two examples I can think of.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, this is just too good to be true.
It's the best ever.
Yeah, really. Please. Stop it.
Yeah, really.
to be garbage because most of us turn out to be fat, idle, indolent slobs who no longer pick up their instruments unless it's time to make a dollar. They usually lost their dollar, which is the only reason they're coming back. They're no longer in contact with anything that's happening outside, and I'm not speaking specifically about Sabbath, but the general rule of...
Does this not sound like David Lee Roth?
It sounds like David Lee Roth. He's describing himself.
That's what I think too. He's bashing it, but he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
He's not in touch with his fans. We were there. We saw it. We saw him separate from his own band.
Yeah.
We saw him not associating with anybody.
He had his own trailer.
Yeah. We saw him not willing to speak to anybody. We saw him not ride on the same bus. We saw him not mingling with the other bands that were playing at this venue. Even Eddie Van Halen, who, let's face it, is a bigger star than David Lee Roth.
He just came out and hung out with us.
Yeah, Eddie did. Wolfie did. You know, we saw the rest of the band. We did not see David Lee.
And he had his own porta potty. He had his own porta potty.
Yes, he did.
It was taped off with his name on it.
Right.
Please do not use David Lee Roth only.
Right. That's David Lee's shitter.
It's the ice cream man shitter.
Right.
Is that you are a product of a neighborhood, whether you know it or not. When you're opening act for a million other shows and you're hearing the music coming through those brick walls as you're warming up, if you're working in clubs and bars, and it's particularly the people you can't stand and you hate that you learn the most from, you know, as a critic. You know, you find your way, you find your shape like that. Ultimately, I call it, well, I don't call it, it's called the friction of time. You know, a family, friends, medical, travel, age itself, wealth, the lack of wealth, too much wealth, that's one of your favorites, you know, etc. Like a big yoke on somebody's shoulders, it slows down and it kills the artist. They literally gain weight, lose the height in their voice. There walks a lady we all know.
Wow, that sounded just about as bad as he sounded when we saw him.
He's making fun of Robert Plant.
I know.
How about if he makes fun of himself? Play some. I know I sent you links.
Sure you did.
Please play some of him with his stellar fucking well-tuned muscle of a fucking vocal.
All right, this is Panama.
All right, from the show we were...
Wow.
Go ahead.
I only got one thing to say. Humma la ziba la ziba la baba la ziba la ziba la ziba la baba la ziba la baba la ziba la zaba la bop. Buzzy Bob.
How about Unskinny Bob?
Tell me that guy that just did those vocals did not just make fun of fucking Robert Plant.
Yeah.
Don't you have that fucking release, dude, of the Zeppelin show that they did in like 2007 or whatever?
What's his beef with Robert Plant anyway?
He says that Robert Plant can't sing, that he stopped trying to sing well. unlike him. You might as well take over from here, Neely. He's stumped.
He's zonked?
He's stumped. I think he fell asleep.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
How about Unchained?
Yeah, go ahead. Play some more.
Let's play some Unchained.
This looks familiar. This looks brand new out here.
I don't think he's sung once.
That's Van Halen, man.
He hasn't sung once. He just spoke the words the entire time.
And there's a lady we all know. Fucking terrible, man. What is he doing?
No, if he was to sing it his way, he'd go, "There's a lady!
Lady! We know!
And then you got to throw, woo!
Woo! Lady that we all know. Woo! Let me twirl my sword again. Roth stinks. I just can't believe that this fucking guy that has no fucking vocal talent left is going to bash arguably the greatest singer of the last 50 years.
I'm shocked that he would say something about Robert, but as far as Dave live, it's just a different animal live.
No, it's a fucking, you know what it is? It's a dog that needs the bullet in his fucking head. It is a fucking neutered experience that ruins what is a truly great band. Van Halen, the band, fucking really, really good.
They ripped.
They ripped.
Oh, it sounded awesome.
Big time.
Even with Wolfie.
Even with Wolfie, they were great. But my God, David Lee was like fucking... It was like watching a dog that needs to be put down, but you just don't have the balls to do it. So you watch it limp around, and you watch it fucking throwing up, and you watch it shitting on itself and just falling down in the shit and can't lift its head out of the fucking puddle of shit.
And the throw up.
That's what it really was like. It was fucking horrendous. It was really bad. And this guy is going to all of a sudden be on the radio talking about, well, some guys don't keep their fucking vocals in shape. What the fuck?
Not magic. It's not miracle. It's what you ate for breakfast, and more importantly, what you shouldn't have ate. If you're going to hit that high note, I suggest you hit the fucking high note based on how much you charge for tickets these days, and that applies to myself. Now, I'm sort of on a tangent here, but...
Okay.
And that applies to himself.
That's what he said.
He said that applies to himself. That motherfucker didn't hit a high note in the fucking 2 hours that we sat in front of him.
He had some high woos there.
None of them were in key.
Well...
None of them were in key.
And Van Halen collected $750,000 for that show.
For that show.
Hey, Alan Killcaller, you're on the air.
What's up, Neely? It's John again.
Oh, boy, it's John.
Sorry. Hey, first of all, I got to say something to Randy. I know, like, when you just said, you know, the live experience is different. Dude, I am the biggest Van Halen fan you will ever meet. The live experience is not different when it comes to Roth. He was horrible. I am the biggest Van Halen fan you've ever met. Ask Aiken, ask Neely. Seriously, he was terrible. And this whole argument about when he's talking about, Robert Plant and stuff, he sounds like shit. David Lee Roth sounds like garbage, man.
So you don't think it's fair that he's bashing Robert Plant?
No. I mean, and Aiken, you brought up an excellent point. That's I think it's called Celebration Day, the live set that they put out, Zeppelin put out a few months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Plant, like, they had to down tune in a bunch, but I mean, for almost a 70-year-old guy, I mean, if all you have to do is go listen to Kashmir, and in the middle part when he has to do that big old scream, he sounds fantastic. Roth, it sounds like Roth doesn't give a shit. Like, it sounds like he doesn't care what the fans think, what anybody thinks. He's just up on stage going, I'm David Lee Roth. I know you all love it, so fuck you. And it's a horrible way to look. It's a horrible look for him because, I mean, at this point, everyone's all about Eddie Van Halen, and Eddie was fantastic and has been fantastic for the last few years.
It was brutal to watch. Brutal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and
I don't leave shows. Honestly, no matter what, I don't leave shows. And knowing that this was probably the last time we're going to see that lineup of Van Halen in the States, I kind of wanted to stay through it, but it was unwatchable for me. I had to leave because it was fucking making me want to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, and Aiken, you make an excellent point, because remember, like, obviously, like, when I was there with Steph, like, obviously I was way in the back, and Steph and I are sitting there, and I was honest about everything. I was like, I sing the whole time, and I do. I just sing to Van Halen, I jump around, I air guitar, and do all that kind of stuff. So, like, to Steph and I, everything was fantastic. So the show was cool and everything. Well, and Aiken, I told you this. I went, like, 2 weeks ago. I'm at work and I'm looking for YouTube videos, like listening to live concerts to get through work and stuff like that. And I listened to the Wisconsin show that we were at, the full version of it, and I can get through anything, But I was listening to it and I had to turn it off halfway through because Roth was so bad.
He was awful.
He was horrible.
Well, Neely, am I wrong in thinking that you fucking jumped in your car and left halfway through the show?
Yeah, I stayed for 40 minutes of it, and I was just like, all right, I had enough of this.
I know.
Yeah, it's...
Neil even called it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to walk out. By the time they got to I'll Wait, I had to leave. I had to get out of there because I was so pissed.
Well, that just goes to show you how strong of musicians Wolfie and Alex and Eddie are to be able to still play, dead on, dead nuts tight to that going on.
Randy, but I mean, I know you said like you said that the live experience is a different thing. Like, and I'm sure you're talking about the monitors, and there's like echoes coming from here and there. I mean, Randy, his voice was just horrible. And it literally sounds...
Even like ad-libbing during songs and things of that nature, that's cool when a singer can do that live, as long as it sounds cool.
I think everybody's missing the point here. I don't give a fuck if he was shitty, but somebody that sounds like he does now does not get to criticize arguably the greatest vocalist in the history of rock music.
Yeah,
not for
exactly.
any fucking reason.
I second that.
Exactly. And Aiken, I called in because I am the biggest Van Halen fan anyone has ever met, and so and even I can't defend David Lee Roth. And then to hear him talk shit about Robert Plant, I mean that whole Celebration Day release, that DVD and the CD, I mean it sounds great. I mean they may have had to down tune it a bit, but he still can nail that shit, even if it's down-tuned. A 70-year-old man, again, Kashmir is the benchmark. He does that scream in the middle, and it just, you can hear with the reverb and the echo. That guy's got it, man. And Roth, and you can tell that Robert Plant actually understands what it means to, show respect to your fans, whereas David Lee Roth just basically gets up on stage and goes, well, there's a bunch of Van Halen fans, and it's all about me. No, it isn't, dude. This is why Van Halen broke up in '84, because you don't fucking get it.
There's no tuning that would have made him good. There's
Yeah.
no tuning. They could have tuned down to fucking triple D, and
Yeah.
there's no
If you are-
tuning. They could have tuned down to underground, and it would not have fucking made him sound good.
Exactly, because he just got up there going, well, I'm David Lee Roth, and the people that want to see Roth with Eddie think that I'm awesome, so I can just jump around like an idiot and sing whatever the hell I want, and people will suck it down and think it's good. And it's not, it is, and the sad part is, if you look on the internet message boards and stuff, people actually are going, oh, Roth sounds better than ever. No, he sounds worse than ever, man. Like, that's horrible. And this is coming from a guy who's got Van Halen tattooed on his arm, Like, it's my favorite band. Like, that band changed my life, but, oh my God, does he sound like a fucking bag of garbage. God damn it. So,
How
Randy,
do you really feel,
yeah.
John? So, did you like Roth?
Sorry. No. I prefer Sammy Hagar, and I will be mellow. Randy, seriously, man, come on, the live experience. I know you're a singer, dude. Like, and you've been in front of crowds and stuff, but you cannot back up Roth on this at all, man. Come on, talk.
Yeah, he can't be messing with Robert Plant. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
All right, go away, John, and be quiet, Randy. Let's finish this.
All right, fuck you, pal. Hand job.
There goes your pal.
Yeah, there we go.
I love the callers.
You like that, don't you, Randy?
It's awesome.
It's just on the spot. It's happening. It's now. It's live.
It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
All right, can we stroke each other later?
Jeff Tate and people from Australia calling.
Right. All right.
Where are we at?
I was going to play this real quick.
All right.
Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat and gonna make you groove. Jive said the way you swing gonna make you burn, gonna make you sting. Oh, baby, when you walk that way, watch your honey drip, I can't keep away.
See,
I got a roll, I can't stand still. I've got a flame and a heart, I can't get my fill. I could shine, burn red, bring you up to my head.
All right. Well, he may not be the Robert Plant of 1973, but at least he still sings the songs.
well, and he sings the words where they belong, and clearly he knew his limitations and worked with the bands to make it work for the songs. I personally don't like that. I won't lie. I don't especially love that, but I would at least respect that. What we saw with Roth, I did not respect at all, because the guy did not give a fuck what he was delivering on stage, and I honestly believe that. Do you? I mean, Neely, you watched a good portion of it. Do you think that he just was out of tune and couldn't hit the notes, or do you think he just didn't give a fuck?
I don't think he cared. I think he was more into his stage presence than he was into the vocals.
Yep.
Yeah, he was more about dancing and fucking swinging his sword around.
He was into the theatrics, and the showmanship more than the vocals.
Putting his personal spin on the show more than anything.
But it didn't work.
Which I'm more of a believer in the team deal, and you all stand, go on the same page, and you guys obviously.
You're Van Halen. People know those songs. They know what they're supposed to sound like. there's no getting away with half-assing it.
Which that's all my point was I could hear the spin he was trying to put on the songs, you know, and putting, you know, like
what was okay. Tell me what that spin was.
Doing the in between,
because my spin was drunken ass wipe. That was the spin I took. Was sounds like a drunken ass wipe, fucking up on stage trying to do bad karaoke of Van Halen songs.
Well, that may be the more technical term.
Twister Girl, he needs to go back to his own personal porta potty and practice his vocals. That sucked. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Something else about Robert Plant that puts him over over Roth.
Yeah.
And you guys know we talked about this before. I'm not the hugest Zeppelin fan in the world.
Okay.
I think for every cool Zeppelin fan, they have two that sucks. Or for every cool Zeppelin song, they have two that sucks.
Disagree, but okay.
Celebration date. Go ahead.
No, I just was going to say I disagree fully, but okay.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But Plant for this Celebration Day deal, I mean, if you read anything, all you had to do was look at Brave Words or Blabbermouth. Plant did not want to do it.
Right.
He did not want to reunite with Zeppelin and revisit this. And meanwhile, yet he did it, and he made it work somehow. Meanwhile, Roth just, it's like he's been waiting all this time for Eddie and Alex to basically beg him to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he comes back and doesn't deliver. All he has to do is deliver these songs. He doesn't have to be good. See, that's what I think is missing from the whole argument. David Lee Roth does not have to be good. He could simply put the words where they belong so that they sound like they're coming out of his mouth, and he would be fucking revered. He would be revered as the greatest comeback in the history of rock.
So you're saying he's really taking the approach as, I'm David Lee Roth, and you're lucky to even have me back.
That's what he's totally doing.
Exactly, that's it. It's like, I'm David Lee Roth, I'm here, you all should be glad and kiss my ass for it. And Randy makes a good point that, you know, Roth's style of singing is totally different than Robert Plant's style of singing. Okay, we get that. But still, even given that, Roth is half-assing it. It's like...
If Roth did nothing more but spoken word, if he just said the words, but he said them where they fit in the songs, people would love it. I would have loved it. I wouldn't have hated it. I cannot tell you. You know, we drove 1,000 fucking miles to see this goddamn show. Honestly. And I mean, we did it because we knew we had access and blah, 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 and the chance to meet Eddie Van Halen. And we heard that it was going to be the last show.
Guys.
But my God, man, you know what? I'll never drive 1,000 miles for any band ever again, ever, after what we fucking got treated to. I'll never do it.
We make allowances for guys, you know, that are getting up there in years. But this was just, it's like, I think it was Neely said when you first play this audio, it's like he couldn't hear the rest of the band. It's like
it's like his monitors were off and he was like 2 steps behind the rest of the band.
Except he wore an
maybe
earpiece.
They were, we don't know.
That
but
answer doesn't even get to fly because he wears an earpiece so that he can hear.
Yeah. At least, you know, Robert Plant, as much as he didn't want to do it, and as much as they, you know, had to audition other singers to get him to finally commit to doing it, and he only did it for his old friend, the record company executive.
Mm-hmm.
He did it. He did his best.
I think the only answer here is for David Lee Roth and Robert Plant to do a tour together.
That's not going to happen.
Lord. Maybe Robert Plant can sing the Van Halen songs, and you know Eddie and Roth can just sort of, you know, twirl his swords or whatever it is he does.
You to see that.
Wouldn't.
But as far as Zeppelin, we're getting to it. I must be weird because the Zeppelin songs that I like aren't the ones that everybody says is so great, and the ones that Zeppelin themselves love, and the ones that they, you know, the fans think are so great and the pinnacle of Zeppelin's creativity. I think they suck.
Jesus.
I hate Kashmir.
God. What is wrong with you?
I hate Kashmir. I hate Stairway to Heaven. I hate the entire...
Do you hate them because you heard them too much? Or did you always hate them? I mean, you never liked Stairway to Heaven?
No, never have.
Jesus, I can't even
fathom
that.
It may partly be my age because you guys know I'm a young dude as far as CMS listeners.
Yeah.
I turned 33 last week.
Well,
but
happy birthday.
Happy belated.
Thank you. But Zeppelin, just like ZZ Top, a band that I love, but they have always sounded like old man music to me.
And they still have that smell too.
Give me Immigrant Song, give me Communication Breakdown, give me Nobody's Fault But Mine. I'll take that. You can have your Cashmere and your Stairway and your what else?
I'll take them all.
Black Dog.
Yeah,
Black Dog, Rock and Roll, fucking Communication Breakdown,
Over the Hills and Far Away.
Since I've Been Loving You.
Traveling Riverside Blues.
I want the short songs. I want the hard songs. I don't want any of this Middle Eastern bullshit. I don't want these diversions.
Ramble On.
Ugh.
All of My Love. All right,
No,
I'll give you
hell
that's
no.
not a very good song.
Yeah.
That one's not very good.
I don't like Terra Alhambra. I don't like the entire Into the Outdoor album. No Tea for one.
If Led Zeppelin has 100 songs, I probably like 96 of them.
I probably like 20.
God.
Nearly,
where
you're
you
entitled to that.
Oh, I'm a huge Zeppelin fan.
So if they have 100, how many do you like?
I probably like you 95 out of 100.
I love them all.
Yeah, I probably like 99.
Led Zeppelin and Doghouse, I'm willing to firmly believe that this is all your age, because I'll tell you what, Zepp is a band that I don't even listen to a song of. Zepp is a band that I put on an album on song 1 and it plays.
Yep.
Never do you turn it off. You never turn it off. You listen to all 8 or 9 songs, whatever's on the album. Exactly. Every time. Neely, agree, disagree, what?
Absolutely.
It probably is my age because they were dinosaurs when I got indoctrinated to this in '88 by Guns N' Roses. By that time, Zeppelin were dinosaurs.
And that's true. And I mean, I had Led Zeppelin 3 and 4 in my car in 1982, and I mean, they had just broken up. So, I sort of grew up with it, and all my pot smoking friends fucking always had Led Zeppelin. So, of course, that led me into Led Zeppelin.
God bless them and their music collection.
And I had the records. I tried to like them, but I just prefer it to be just sharp and quick to the point. I mean, look at
Bring It On Home.
Look at Physical Graffiti. It's a double album that should have been a single, but they had to junk it up with all this other crap.
Oh, was that
And
when
yeah,
they went
Cashmere.
all Egyptian and stuff?
So all right, outside of ZZ Top, Doghouse, what are the old bands, and I'll call them the old bands that you like? I mean, Sabbath or Rolling Stones or who?
AC/DC.
AC/DC.
Yeah. Roth era Van Halen. Old Aerosmith. I do like old Aerosmith. I don't love them, but I like them. Are we talking just bands that never made it out of the 70s?
No, I'm just saying bands that are of the same era, I guess, as Led Zeppelin. Like Eagles, even or no
Skinner.
Or Skinner.
Well, then that's basically bands that never made it out of the 70s because Zeppelin didn't.
Well, Zeppelin made it to 80, didn't they?
79.
John Bonham died a month after I was born. Okay.
Too bad you couldn't trade places, but that's a whole nother story.
Judas Priest, obviously. I mean, I love 70s Priest.
Sure.
I wasn't born then, but you can't help but thinking that in 78 there was nothing heavier than Priest.
Right.
70s Sabbath up to a point. We all know Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die sucked.
Headless Cross.
No, Rock and Roll Doctor.
Now we're talking.
Rock and Roll Doctor.
All right, go away. We get it. You hate Zeppelin.
I don't hate them. I just don't love them. I just don't put them on the same pedestal that fucking
20 out of 100
on the classic rock station put them on.
20 out of 100, you hate them.
The New Yardbirds.
Oh, good Lord. Mata Hoople.
They're no Volbeat, that's for sure.
Jethro Tull.
Buffalo Springfield.
Ugh.
Air Supply.
Jethro Tull is almost the downfall of Black Sabbath.
See, you can say Jethro Tull and get any bunch of random metalheads fired up.
Yeah, man, they stole Metallica's Grammy, man.
That's right, and Metallica said they'd never make a video, and I'm still pissed off about it 25 years later. Yeah, those sellout faggots.
They cut their hair, bitches.
Yeah, and Bob Dylan started playing electric guitar.
Bob Dylan started playing electric guitar since when?
It was a big deal, I'm told.
Yeah.
It, like, rocked the music industry. Like, who cares?
Nice.
Electric or acoustic, the guy still can't fucking sing.
Yeah, what a sellout fag.
Ah, fuck him.
Mumbling dickweed.
Zimmerman.
Bob Zimmerman.
Right.
That's right.
Not to be mistaken for the Trayvon killer.
No,
That's George.
well, that's a whole different deal. I won't
That's
even. I
not
won't even go
guilty
near that
George.
one.
Just got to put a fright wig on George, and he'd look just like Bob.
And I'll
That's
tell
right.
you what,
Get him
wait,
to get up there and go. Anytime the air changes.
the way he was screaming like a bitch after he killed Trayvon on the phone probably sounded just like Bob.
He probably did, and even in the '60s, Bob sounded like a toothless geezer.
And he
This
has
boy
a
from the
distinct-
Iron Range of Minnesota pretended to be, a wandering troubadour, pretending to be some blues man from the South. Like, what a fucking poser.
Lay, baby, lay across my big brass bed.
Put Randy to bed.
God damn. All right, Doghouse.
That is all. Fuck you, pal.
All right.
Nice guy.
Holy smokes, the show has been silly tonight.
We never had that kind of interaction in the old days, huh, Randy?
No, we needed more of that back then.
Yeah.
Somehow the commercial radio wouldn't let that happen.
Go figure. You got to invent some, though, now.
All right, are we done here? It's 3:30.
Yeah, we can be done here.
Unless you want to play more.
Oh, that's all right. Whatever you want to do. Randy sounds like he wants to hit the rack.
I just know the phone's going to ring 20 more times. We're going to be here till fucking 5 a.m.
The rock and roll.
Not that I care.
Hey, if I haven't mentioned it, now's the perfect time to mention you guys. I know you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
The Detroit Buds are going to be playing in Madison, Ohio, or something like that. Mason, Ohio.
At C-Bars.
I believe Saturday, October the 5th.
Wasn't Z-Bart a car undercoating place?
C-Bars.
Oh, it's not Z-Bart.
Sounds like...
I think we should do a
nice
CMS
place.
night out that night. What do you think, Neely?
I think you guys should.
Z-Bart.
No chance in hell are we going to fucking broadcast
helicopter
from
Neely in.
Madison.
Yeah.
There's no chance we're going to broadcast from Madison.
Broadcasting live from Madison, Ohio.
Here we are at Geneva.
Saturday.
While
This
you,
800-seat bar with
Rocktober
30
fifth.
people.
while you listen to Randy and the Buds play, we'll undercoat your car right here at Z-Bart.
Leave your windows down and we'll do the inside for free.
They're taking the stage. It's the Detroit Buds. With your singer, Randy Trask. Enough.
That's awesome. That is
I bet you're
awesome.
thrilled you gave me that CD.
One of the most brilliant moves in my rock and roll career I've ever made.
And I have a signed copy.
I do too, somewhere. Unless I give it to you. Did I give it to you?
No, he gave me one and he gave you one.
Oh, then we both have a signed copy.
I have a signed copy.
Nice.
It's signed.
Neely made me sign his with grape the.
And anyway, Neely, what else do you want to talk about?
Well, we can make it real quick here.
Let's just play it. We don't have to make it quick. I'm in no real hurry.
All right. Well, we can make it real quick here. Richie Sambora, after 30 years, has left Bon Jovi.
Oh,
as in been fired.
So since Rock and Randy is our special guest and a rock and roll aficionado, give us your thoughts initially, Randy.
No, Jimmy, no. You know, how long has he been with Bon Jovi?
30 years.
30 years.
30 years.
Years. Now he's just a little runaway.
Ugh.
Randy.
Really?
Gone bad.
Sorry, Randy. I can't ask you to come back and be part of the show anymore.
Really? That's the best you got?
It's all the same.
You know what?
Only the names will change, Jimmy.
You know what their publicist says when she sees Richie? Or you know what Richie says when he sees their publicist, that chick? Oh, she don't know me. All right, I can do fucking faggot-ass fucking song play jokes too, okay? Jesus Christ, really, man?
30 years, Randy.
30 years.
You know, I heard that fucking Richie Sambora asked to come back in the band, and John said, "No way, dude. You're living on a prayer."
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like something like he would say.
Mm-hmm.
How would you know? Do you know John Bon Jovi?
Well, I know people that know Bon Jovi. I know people that know Bon Jovi. I think you know those same people.
Richie wouldn't get off those drugs, and so they had to throw him out of the band. And John said, "Look, dude, you're going to have to take some bad medicine. Bad medicine is what you need."
Well, I think the bad medicine was getting him in trouble. But
could be.
Apparently, they have a program there where you have to take badder medicine to get off of the bad medicine.
You know, they brought him into a band meeting, and they said, "You know what, Richie, we got some tough news to give to you." And you know what he said?
What did he say?
Lay your hands on me, baby. Bring it on.
I could see him saying that.
I could
see him saying that.
You know, even now that Richie's been thrown out of the band,
even now,
he's got to keep the faith that he'll be brought back. You know where would be the best place for Richie to go so he can get off the drugs and the alcohol? Dry County.
Dry County. And who says you can't come home?
And you know, when Richie lays his head down on the pillow, he has secret dreams.
You know, when Richie got thrown out of the band, he laid down next to his bed and he put his hands together and he said, "Hey, God."
When Heather Locklear left him,
yeah,
he thought to himself, well, that's the price of love.
Right.
Exactly what he thought.
He got thrown out of the band and he went back to his chick and he said, "You know what? Regardless of if I'm making money or not, I'll be there for you. These 5 words, I swear to you."
And he thinks to himself when he lays his coconut head down on the pillow, the hardest part is the night.
Right. You know, he really wants to go back to Bon Jovi, but he knows he can't, but it's still a big part of his secret dreams.
Nice.
We can do this all night.
This is awesome.
How fucking faggy is it that we know this many fucking Bon Jovi songs?
I want you guys.
But in his secret dreams, Richie Sambora just dreams of the day that John Bon Jovi will say, "Come back."
And when he says to come back, Richie's going to have to spend a lot of time in the studio practicing. And John will just be right there going, come on, get ready.
Ooh, good one.
Look, I could do this all day. I was a fucking Bon Jovi fan for a lot of years.
And the games you play in this music business, it's just like playing roulette.
It's actually a good tune.
So you think Richie's going to be able to save his career, or is it going to? Well,
you're going to end up hearing it. He's going to end up like Janie Lane.
Oh, Jesus, come on, man.
No.
Yeah, drunk, dead in a hotel room.
Let's not get that far. Richie has a fucking better career than Janie did solo.
No, doesn't matter. He's done. Bon Jovi's over.
Stop it. I'm a big fan of Richie. Fucking, to be honest, I'd rather John fucking kill himself.
Oh, no.
Just like his daughter. Just fucking heroin overdose. That's what I'm saying. The two of them could shoot up together and die together. That's what I think. John first on film. And then his daughter go right behind him. I'm with you, Daddy. Goodbye.
But the reason Richie got kicked out of the band is because John Bon Jovi always thinks that he's king of the mountain.
Never say goodbye.
Yeah, never say goodbye.
Right.
You know what kind of night it is for Richie tonight since he's not out on stage? It's definitely a silent night. No, I can't no more.
All right, well, let's get out of here.
All right, let's fucking go. This has been a really stupid way to end the show.
All right, well, I want to thank Tracy Guns for calling into the show tonight just before his appearance at the Raiding the Rock Vault at the Las Vegas Hilton in Las Vegas.
Cool.
We got another call here. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
On the way out, do you think you could play as your closing song, if you haven't picked it already, the tandem pair of Ride Cowboy Ride and Stick to Your Guns?
Ain't nobody gonna hurt you, baby.
And what would that be what would that be off of, Doghouse?
It's off of New Jersey. It's one of the few non-single hidden gems of the band, and I would advise everybody to pay close attention to Ride Cowboy Ride and listen to the lyrics that are clearly about anal sex.
Ride, cowboy, ride.
Is this the theme song from Brokeback Mountain?
You don't know that song? To the back door of heaven, to the other side, I want to know, blah, 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 make you cry. Ride, cowboy, ride.
I'm afraid I might have heard it.
So you want to be a cowboy. Ride, ride, ride.
As you can see, Chris is actually a
be
fan.
Romantic. I could try my best lies, but I ain't got the money, and we ain't got the time. Ride, cowboy, ride. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
He threw that whole David Lee Roth thing in there.
Dude. It's funny that he
that's
picks,
putting your spin on it, man.
I like that he fucking picked that, because that is probably my favorite Bon Jovi 1-2 moment of all the albums. Is fucking Ride Cowboy Ride and to Stick to Your Guns. Stick to Your Guns is a fucking killer song.
Nice.
Stick to Your Guns should have been a fucking single.
Should have been the single off of that album, because they fucking went with shitty Living with Sin instead, which was garbage.
Seriously, New Jersey and the first album are probably the only two Bon Jovi albums I listen to anymore, probably once a year. But I always go straight for Stick to Your Guns when I pull out New Jersey.
That's a good one. Although I have always stuck to it, and I will always stay to it. My favorite album in the Bon Jovi catalog is fucking 7800 Fahrenheit.
The
Love
forgotten
it.
album, the one I don't even have.
It's the one metal album that they did with Tokyo Road and Always Run to You and
that's
stuff.
That's a fun song, yeah. Tokyo Road.
That's the one true metal album that they did. Love it.
It's so forgotten. I don't even have it. So
the band doesn't want to acknowledge it either. They quickly forgot it to fucking put out Slippery When Wet and do a bunch of cheeseball songs. But
yeah, I tell you what, I got Slippery When Wet in 1990 after I had New Jersey in the first album, and even then, Slippery When Wet was so overplayed I barely listened to it, and even then, almost never side two.
Yeah, never say goodbye. You
totally.
And me,
dude, that
and
song is so
friends.
bad. It's like a song for a high school dude who's going off to college, and his girlfriend is 1 year younger, and he's singing her this song, yet he knows he's going to be nailing all kinds of college pussy.
just like American Graffiti.
Hookers sucking dicks. You and me and your old friend. Blowing my cock till the end.
Nice.
Jesus Christ. That's it. I'm done.
All right, doggy.
Put us all out of our misery.
All right.
Hand job.
All right, let's get out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, Randy. Well, it was a pleasure having you back on the CMS after 16-year absence.
16-year absence.
16-year absence.
Jesus.
It was
I was out on.
You were on tour.
On doing road work for the classic metal show.
Yeah. Brett Michaels
scouting ahead.
All right, Randy, that's enough from you.
Brett Michaels' personal assistant.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Stop encouraging more speaking.
All right, we're out of here. I'm going to leave you with what the doghouse wants.
Right. Stick to your guns.
Yep. Ride, cowboy, ride. Stick to your guns. So we're going to get out of here. We'll be back next Saturday, and we're going to do this all over again. So until next week, this is Neely along with my very good friends,
Chris Aiken and
Rockin' freaking Randy Trask.
And we're out of here.
Bye, kitties.